We often hear about that photography caused the death or decline of painting, but I believe that was never the case in India. In the 19th century, there was new patrons, new aesthetics, new desires, and Indian artists used photography as a tool and adapted it for their own ends. I'm Deepali Dewan, the Dan Mishra Curator of South Asian Art and Culture at the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto, Canada. One of my favorite works in the collection is a studio portrait of a seated noble. It's a fairly conventional format. You can see him seated on a chair next to a table with a flower arrangement. There's a carpet underneath and a curtain behind. I like the colors. That expanse of green in the background reminds me of Mughal portraits, especially during the Shah Jahan period. This artwork has also taught me a lot about the unique mixture of photography and paint in artistic practice in India. I like it so much that I put it on the cover of a book I wrote on the topic a number of years ago. In India in the late 19th and early 20th century, there was a number of ways that photography and paint were mixed together. Photo studios, for example, would add color to the photographic surface as a way of adding color to a black and white image. They also use enlarged photographs to serve as layers under paint. Painting studios also used the camera as a tool. They would include a photograph under their painting as a way to capture a greater sense of realism in the portrait. And they also used paint to mimic a photographic aesthetic. So that is, without using a photograph at all, they liked to copy the look of a photograph in different parts of the painting. This particular artwork was done in a painting studio, and it was done by an artist named Ghasiram Hardev Sharma. We know his name because of the inscription on the artwork. And he was known as the head of the painting workshop associated with the temple in the pilgrimage town of Nathdwara in Rajasthan. The temple is dedicated to the Hindu god Krishna in his form as Srinathji, and people who came there wanted to mark the pilgrimage by getting a portrait done. So this particular artwork actually shows a number of different ways photography and paint were mixed in India, and that's one of the reasons I like it so much. So for example, if you look at the curtain, you can see the photographic print showing through with the beautiful folds of the fabric, but it's been lightly tinted on top. In contrast, the carpet, you actually see some of the photographic image of the carpet underneath, but it's been embellished with these large white floral blossoms that have been added to the surface. And they were never in the photograph originally. And then if you look at the sitter's hands and face, they look photographic. They look like a black and white photograph showing through. But if you look really closely, you actually realize that they were made completely out of paint. I like to think about this in a way that scholar Molly Aitken calls the intelligence of tradition. Rather than blindly following the past or copying new techniques, artists in India had enough of a sense of agency to consciously select from a number of styles that were available to them. This artwork inspires me because it reminds me of the importance of experience in artwork in person. What looks photographic can be paint. What looks painterly can be a photograph. Digital images will never suffice. Indian painted photographs were meant to trick the eye, and indeed, unless you examine them in person, your eye will be tricked.